This, I think, is probably more exciting than the racing with the Pro Series 2020 brought to you by ATK Arena. And I think it's purely because we get to have the most fun. Jonathan, Bentz, Tasmin, Pepper, and myself getting to review what was a fantastic round 3 at Zandvoort, right through Pro-Am and Pros. Some really fantastic racing. A track that not a lot of the drivers were looking forward to, because it's obviously old school layout, unforgiving if you make a mistake, and very, very difficult to overtake. Delivered the goods, Jonathan. Great racing, eh?
Yeah, what a great day racing. And I think between all the groups, there was a lot of respect shown between the drivers. There was a lot of great battles and a bit of a mix-up in the podium on the Pro class. So fantastic day racing.
Look, I mean, the highlight for me as well was the brilliant commentary work that Tasmin did yesterday. She was really on song. Tasmin, great job. Well done.
Oh, thanks for having me back, guys. I'm actually pretty sad that I missed yesterday's race.
Were you driving or what?
Yeah, I was dealing with a few things. So, I missed everyone. I missed the racing, and I'm pretty excited viewing some incidents.
Cool. Yeah, John,
I think you're going to have to go check the videos out on the ATK Pro Series YouTube channel. I think they are up there at the moment, so just pop over and check them out when you have a chance.
Sure. Yeah,
it was super exciting. I know we've got 4 incidents that we're going to look at tonight. Johnny, you'll talk us through them. We've got 2 from Pro-Am and 2 from the pros.
That's
and
correct,
what was really cool is obviously when we did this after our second round, a lot of great banter and chat on the social media platforms, the drivers getting engaged, and that's what we're looking for. You know, it's motorsports about passion, and it's no different just because you're strapped into a sim rig. And what's cool is people can obviously today throw their questions and probably challenge us. They'll never have a go at me. It's normally Tasmin that's wrong, so I'm sure Tasmin's got a lot to answer for today. Jono, let's go straight into it. Talk us through what our first incident is. I'm assuming we're going to start Pro-Ams.
Yeah, we're going to start in the Pro-Am, and we've chosen four of the I would say, not controversial incidents, but incidents that are not just the usual, just bump and spin in the corner. So I've chosen 4 incidents today that will spark some conversation, and hopefully guys can learn from it. So the first incident that we have up today was between driver Brent Lindsay-rae and Hendricks. Okay, so if we can start playing that. Now, what you see here, you've got Brent Lindsay-rae coming up on a battle between, I think it's Wild and Hendricks.
Ferrari running wide there.
Yeah, that's Hendricks in the Ferrari. And so Hendricks makes a mistake. Brent Lindsay-rae is trying to unlap himself here. Getting involved in this battle, which is a bit of a no-no. And then here you have Hendricks, who is now seeing the blue flags that is being shown to Brent Lindsay-rae, and feels that he has right of way into that chicane. So that is the entirety of this incident, in that we got 2 things here. Brent wasn't really supposed to be getting himself involved in a scrap if he is unlapping himself.
Yeah, look, I mean, let's bring Tasmin up to speed, and also people that might be watching this and didn't follow the race. Brent Lindsay-rae had great pace in qualifying, in the seeding runs as well. First time we've seen him race, but he actually had a game-issued drive-through penalty for some mistake that he made. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't he have a 30-second stop-go as well? I'm trying to remember, Jono, but I know...
Yeah. I don't know if that was him particularly. It might have been Sharrett's brother.
Okay, but he definitely had a drive-through which was issued by the game for some obviously issue from the start perspective. I think we thought it was, but he had the pace, so he was moving through this field really, really quickly. And it is a tricky one, Tasmin. It's like, I know these guys are getting stuck in a race. He's obviously trying to make up as many positions as he can, and he was quicker than the guys in front of him doing battle. Yeah, you're not meant to get involved, but I suppose ideally the guys could also just move out the way, but they're not going to when they're in a battle.
Yeah, he is interfering in himself enough. So I think he is in the wrong a little bit, where I understand he's trying to unlap himself, but he has to abide by the blue flag.
Yeah, I think that, that is it. I mean, drivers are allowed to unlap themselves. And I mean, how quick do you have in real life racing? If you unlap yourself, and it's probably a very rare situation for it to happen, but if you unlap yourself and you are faster, I mean, you're not going to pull away from the guy in like 2 corners. And in the rules generally, you can only see like 3 blue flags before you get into trouble.
Yeah, max 3 blue flags until you get a warning. But then again, I don't know exactly what the actual rule is with interfering in a race, but normally the blue flags get shown, and that's what overrides anything else. But the fact that he's unlapping himself is not an issue, but the fact that he's interfering in a race, that's the issue.
But this is where I'm going to now be devil's advocate here. Noah Hendricks made a big cock-up going into the right-hander, made a big mistake. If he hadn't have done that, Brent Lindsay-rae wouldn't have been in that position anyway.
That's right.
So that is the issue that I have. He didn't come and dive bomb somebody up the inside and stick his nose in a race that he's not involved in. He was put in that position because Noah Hendricks made a mistake. So I think Noah Hendricks could have actually been a little bit better behaved going through the Audi S instead of just barging up the inside and saying, listen, dude, get out the way. You've been shown 1 blue flag, because that's essentially what he would have been shown. Because the overtake was done coming out of the nameless left-hander hairpin and then onto this the Audi S. So this for me,
I mean his pass up the inside there is a bit optimistic. Even if the other guy wasn't there, he wouldn't have even really made the corner without that contact.
So have a look here. Here's the mistake. Outbrakes himself completely, and that's why Brent's back in it. So I'm going to be the unpopular guy here. And I'm going to go against the rule book. He's got 3 blue flags to get out the way. A pass was made because of a mistake by Noah Hendricks, and Noah didn't need to do this. I think Noah's in the wrong here for having a hell of a Hail Mary dive bomb up the inside. He's turning in. I mean, he's never going to make that corner himself. Check where he ran off. Yeah,
no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think he should have maybe been a bit more patient and waited until the next straight and seen if he got given that position back. Having a late lunge like that up the inside isn't going to help him catch the guy that he was originally dicing with in any case, So I think he is in the wrong, but also on the other side, he kind of got involved in a race that was going on and obviously frustrated Hendricks.
Why? You see, I'm seeing blue flags being shown there now. So, I mean, this is what's interesting for me is why is the game issuing blue flags? Because they aren't coming up to pass a back marker. A back marker is coming up to pass them in the back.
Yeah, that's the blue flags are specifically being shown to him because he's a lap down. So
I know, but look here, the blue flag's being shown to him here now already. So surely, look here, he just won't pass a blue flag.
But he's still behind a lead car, though. He's still behind a car that's already lapped. You know what I mean?
I get that, but I'm trying to understand why the blue flag was pulled so quickly. Because literally, the error was made in the right-hander by Noah Hendricks before he even gets to the left-hand. He hasn't even made the pass yet. He's been shown a blue flag. So that's also the game's obviously responding super quick.
I wonder if there's not another car behind him within a second, because the game will show you a blue flag if there's a guy on a lap ahead of you.
Check there, the pass is done. There's his blue flag. Boom, there, fine. Yeah, so
in this situation, car 666 is Brent Lindsay-rae and Hendricks is in this Ferrari that we're on board now with. So now I completely agree with you, Marius. He saw the opportunity. You're not just going to sit behind the Ferrari who's just made the mistake, and you're going to go past. He did it cleanly, but he's getting involved. And maybe it's just it's a technicality in the rules. But in my opinion, what is needed here is maybe just a warning for Brent to say, listen, be aware of this in the future. Don't get involved in battles. And then a 5-second penalty for Hendricks on that dive.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I'm with you. Can we watch that replay from above again? Because you know what I want to show you here, which for me is critical. He is way back, so he's not involved in the battle at all. Not involved. He's too far back. Have a look at the space that he leaves Noah Hendricks through the hairpin. He has a mistake made. He leaves him space here. Look, he moves to the side. He leaves him the opportunity on the inside. Again, left him space. Look, he stayed out wide. He's not getting involved. He's not on the racing line at all. Now the pass is done. You know, so that for me, that for me is there is no battle between Noah Hendricks and the Porsche in front at this stage. That battle ended. That battle ended when Noah made the mistake. So he's not getting himself involved in a battle. So I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think Noah Hendricks is the one at fault here.
Yeah, Noah Hendricks should have basically just gone, you know what, you're not my battle. Let me use you to, pull me along, and then I'll make another attack to the 100%.
Porsche. Great call, because Brent had the pace.
That never happens in a racing driver's mind, by the way. You can pull me along to the person in front of you. No.
But Sad, just I mean, if you watch the race, Brent seeded, I think, second or third fastest. He qualified, I think, in the top 5, and then had that technical issue on the start, which gave him a drive-through. So he had proper pace on the day. So was quicker than these guys. So, that for me is definitely that. He would have been gone. He would have been in the back of the Porsche by the end of the straight, So, yeah, I don't know, Jono. That's my view. There was no battle there because a mistake was made.
Yeah, okay. So I'm happy if we issue Hendricks a 5-second penalty and nothing for Brent.
Yeah, Taz?
Good. Yeah, happy.
Yay! What's next?
I don't often agree with you, Marius.
You're just feeling bad because you missed me yesterday.
Yes, exactly. I'll give you a chance.
Okay, so now we're going to go on to another Pro-Am incident. This was featured on the stream. It wasn't a reported incident, but I thought I'd include it because it's a very good indication of seeing how the drivers drove with quite a bit of respect, but they also they took chances and they didn't always work out for themselves. So the following is of the driver Junior McColl, number 44 in the Porsche, and he was making an attack on Eekhout in the Audi 119. So here, this is setting it up. Going into this first corner here, you see Eekhout makes a mistake there, and then Junior does a great job of of surviving that.
Because that's where Zahir Essa got it wrong in the Pro race. I mean, the Porsche gets so unstable through there when you lift off. So, great
and we
job
saw this Audi doing that to him the entire race, with that rear end just starting to slow slide, and him unable to catch it. But Junior doing a great job here to avoid that incident. And I know it's not always easy, but he did it, and they still maintain position. So there's a lot of respect from the drivers behind. So I just wanted to show you guys that part. I thought that was great.
And that is most motor racing. I mean, we saw a lot of it in this round where guys made little mistakes, outbraked themselves. There were some issues, but the guys showed a lot of respect. But this is what happened after that. Remember the chaos from here? It all went pear-shaped.
It did. So Junior here, he's feeling feisty. He's right on the back of Eekhout here.
He does a good job at avoiding him a couple corners before.
And then he made a bit of an optimistic dive here. Seeing on board here, he's pretty close though. And then also look how Eekhout managed to. He saw him coming, so you can see how he's going to just kind of steer the car a bit more straight. He's like, yep, this is going to happen. And then
he knew that a pass was coming, so he opened up and sort of gave the driver on the inside a bit of space. And this is what we were speaking about the other day, where they actually closed the door instead of opening the door. And he's actually come off better off from it.
Taz, I think Craig did a great job there because he did. He left him plenty of opportunity, and it's that left-hander we spoke about a lot in the race. That there are two options through there. You can take the outside line, and actually with the new F1 circuit revision, it's actually even wider through there now. Listen, that's great recovery. I think kudos to Junior there for avoiding the incident, doing a great job, great car control. Yeah. But then obviously just getting it wrong here because Craig left him plenty of space into that left-hander, and it was weird. He almost, I don't know why he ran into him. He didn't need to. Have a look here.
I think he just outbraked himself, to be fair.
Yeah, he couldn't slow down anymore. And we'll see the incident again now. In my opinion, straight away, there's no penalty to be involved here because if Junior had knocked Craig off, then there would have been different story. But because Junior was the one that came off where there will be no further action on this one.
But can I tell you what also helps here? You know why it worked out like that? Because Craig left him the space. Had he have shut the door, that would have spun Craig's Audi for sure, that contact. But because he stayed wide and left and said, listen, I'm giving you the chance to come through, that actually helped him in the end as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, when somebody's making an attack on you, it may not feel the best. You're going to want to block and you want to keep the position. But sometimes you need to survive the corner. You need to survive to battle again at the next corner. So, I mean, everything just worked out. And if it was a different corner, it may have been a different situation altogether. But I thought this was a great incident.
It's quite cool. You see where the contact ended up being on the A pillar instead of smacking him on the rear wheel, which would have definitely rotated him. Have a look here, because he left.
If he did turn in, that's exactly where he would have been hit.
No.
Yeah. And Junior was already trying to avoid that situation as well. So he was probably, had the wheel oversteered. So as soon as contact was made, then the car just rotated.
But that was a great catch there. That's a heart in your mouth moment because it's a fast little section. And like I said earlier, we saw Zaire in the pro race losing the back end of the Porsche through there. So for 12-year-olds, some impressive car control.
That's right. Okay, so there's no penalty on that one. I think we can all agree on that. I think it's a great learning opportunity for the community. Okay, so nothing for that.
Yeah, we've got a question. So let's have a look. Who's asking that question?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. We've got a question, Daniel.
So we've got a question from Byron Walker. So this is not a question, an incident at hand, but he has to say, why was the fact that I stopped and waited for my car in front of me to give the position back? He made a second mistake and I went off. Byron Walker, from Byron Walker.
I remember that incident with Byron. I think we're actually in the commentary, we actually complimented him, number one, for giving that position back. But then remember, he outbraked himself. I think, Jonathan, you issued him with the penalty in the race.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick that up.
If you go back then, so I remember quite clearly in the commentary, we actually complimented Byron for making contact and giving the position back straight away, which is fantastic. That is sensible racing. But if I do remember, he got issued with a 15-second penalty added to the end of the race. And I think that was for the contact he made with Richard in the Bentley at the Audi S that actually took Richard out of the race, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah, you've got a much better memory than me. That's fantastic. But, even if a driver waits and gives the position back, he's still, unfortunately, dealt the death blow to the other driver. And the other driver has lost out immensely. So, while it is good to see a driver let the other driver pass, unfortunately, it doesn't mean that your penalty is going to be null and void. So you'll still get a penalty for, and I mean, we've said it yesterday as well, a lot of these incidents are not malicious.
Yeah.
The incidents are all mistakes, or 9 times out of 10, they're all mistakes. And, if you're still going to get a penalty for a mistake, it's going to happen. So we can't, trying to think of all my words here, but we can't not issue a penalty just because it's a mistake.
I think usually, and we saw this, Byron wasn't the only one. We saw a couple of these where the guys kind of made a bit of contact, but it wasn't anything malicious. It was like side on door-to-door contact. And the guy went, listen, I've gained a bit of an unfair advantage. Let me give you that position back. Or maybe you outbreak yourself and you shoot a chicane and you give the position back. No problem there. But what happened with Byron is it was a complete outbraked himself totally into that Audi S, and he actually knocked Richard properly, remember, off circuit. And we saw Richard pulling into the pits, and that was the end of his race. So, even if you're giving him that position back, I don't recall that he actually did, because I think it took Richard quite a while to get himself going again. So I'm not sure which incident Byron's referring to, but the penalty that he was issued by you, Jonathan, was 100% spot on, and I think Byron will know that it was a mistake under braking.
Yeah. I wish I had that penalty in front of me to refresh my memory, but So okay, let's move on to the third incident for the evening,
and this is pros.
Now we're moving on to pros now. This incident is between Du Plessis and Greyling. And this happened in turn 4, the tight left-hander?
Yep.
No, it happened after that. There was an incident in the tight left-hander, and then Du Plessis came through, and there was contact made between him and Greyling. So we'll see here, Du Plessis in the pink Porsche. Yeah. He's going to go through the incident now, and now you're going to see Greyling in the grey Lamborghini there, and then contact is made in this kink. Quite a severe incident. We'll get some better angles of this now. So,
but you see, hang on, he's taken the curb.
There we go. We already know whose fault it is.
Yeah.
He's taken curb, but did he take the curb after the tap from the Lambo? Have a look here.
Oh, he didn't.
No,
he launched straight into him.
Okay, so Andre Du Plessis, that's all you, mate.
So what is very disappointing about this incident is that you can see Du Plessis is trying to leave space for Greyling. So, and he simply mistakenly took the in my opinion, he mistakenly took the curb, where don't touch curbs on this track in general. So it's unfortunately he's going to have to probably do the time on this one, but it was such a mistake to just clip that curb, and his car just gets launched straight into Greyling.
Well, I think he was also trying to give the Lambo space on the outside, and obviously not here. So I think he was trying to make space, and the Lambo was trying to make space. And unfortunately, by doing that, he's launched in the air by hitting the curb. So I don't think he tried to do it. I think they were both trying to ride side by side, but obviously, the curb got in the way.
Yeah, I mean, there's no actual bad driving here. There's no opportunities trying to be taken. If anything, I would actually say that Plessis is crashing, and then Greyling's in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, he has taken him out. So
I'd love to see an above view as well, because the thing is, through on this circuit, this is not a part where you're going to go side by side. This is Hunsrug, which is again, they're widening it now for the F1 layout, which we're not driving on, but you can't go side by side through here. So Greyling's left him plenty of space. But on the line that Du Plessis is taking, that's not the correct line through there anyway. So he should have backed off, I think, before that corner. He should have actually just slotted in behind Greyling, because this is basically the super tube section. You're not going to get any passing done here. So, I know
I think what's happening is you see Greyling here is actually rejoined in the track. So Du Plessis is coming through at full speed.
Yeah.
And Greyling's getting up to speed. So Du Plessis, I don't think, was incorrect in
trying to get past
himself up, but then they're both getting up to speed now.
I just think, that's again, and Taz, this is also racing experience where you've made a mistake and you've got to also understand track management. It's a 50-minute race. So wait for the opportunity where you can get past somebody. This is not a part of the circuit where any overtaking gets done. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think what sits with him, eh?
You make the mistake and you get a little bit flustered, and you're upset with yourself for doing something like that, and so you obviously don't want to lose any more places than you already have to,
Mm-hmm.
So I think going back to that corner before, he actually hasn't done anything, but he should have realized at some point that he kind of needed to back out and get behind him instead of trying to go next to him.
I also think Jonathan's right though. You have a look at him through there. Du Plessis is perfect. His line out of the left-hander, which is Hugenholtz, perfect. And it's actually Greyling that's made the mistake and run wide. But literally, him trying to do the good thing and take curb on the inside and give lots of space to Greyling has just launched him into him. So, up until look here, perfect. Apex turns in, Greyling runs wide. He's great. He's getting drive out the corner. He thinks the pass is done and just didn't account for the curb as a launch pad.
Yeah, in theory, he kind of had the right of way because he was up the inside. So he just got unlucky with the curb. I think both, like I said, they were both trying to make space for each other, but that corner just doesn't allow for it.
No, Johnny, you're right. If Greyling wasn't there, he literally got caught up in that. If he wasn't there, it would have been Du Plessis all on his own,
All on his own, yeah. In fact, Du Plessis probably wouldn't even have clipped that curb.
No.
So, yeah, this is a tricky one. a warning for Du Plessis to be more aware in future.
Yeah,
I think perhaps racing incident, but warning for Du Plessis. Nothing at the end of the day is going to give Greyling his race back.
Position back, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And both of them are actually end up both being out the race anyways, regardless.
And I can guarantee you, all the practice runs he's done, he's never approached that corner like that. You know what I mean? So he doesn't know the impact of that curb because no one's taking curb.
No one's had to do that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't think he expected to go launching. I guess he thought he was going to put two wheels on the curb and a bit of grass and he'll be fine. But yeah, these are old school curbs.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we sorted on that racing incident with a warning for Du Plessis.
Yeah.
In the bag.
Okay, let's have a look at our final incident from the pros. Jonathan, this is going to be good.
That's right. And it was featured on the stream as well. It was of a series of incidents that put this driver where he was. And unfortunately, it panned out this way. So we have got Morgan McColl in the number 19 Porsche and Leslie Oliphant in the number 8 Porsche.
Oh.
So Leslie Oliphant, of course, had been fighting quite the entire night.
Jeez, it was such a good race.
Yeah, and then Oliphant here was now getting back up to speed and into the S's here, and he attempted to go around the outside, and then the door closed for the left end of that.
Taz, just a bit of background before we get into this incident. It was some of the best racing between Willifie, Leslie, and Quade Claessens. Literally, I mean, Leslie looked like he had the pace, so difficult to overtake her. And through this S, he was trying inside, outside, all the different options, and then got involved in an incident, and he was on his way back through the field. Just what is interesting, I mentioned this yesterday during the race. I'm going to say it again because this is what came up from the drivers. Taz, for us as drivers to go door to door in the real world is a lot easier than in the game. The game puts parameters in place, and the minute there's touching like that, it's almost like the game isn't quite sure how to handle it in real terms. And a lot of the time, a spin is the result, whereas in the real world, nothing would have happened here.
Yeah.
They've done well.
But they do. He does hit him in the back left, so that's why it sort of puts him into like almost a spin. And then when he obviously gets back on the power again, he gets a little bit throttle happy.
Could Morgan have left him some space on the inside, because he was up the inside? If we look at an aerial view of that again, he's going around the outside. He is there. They've gone through side by side, but the next left-hander doesn't feel like Morgan left him any space.
No, he definitely didn't.
Look here.
He obviously knew he was on the outside, going up on the inside. I mean, from Morgan's point of view, you can't see the car next to you, so maybe he didn't know he was there.
Come on, he's there. Look at that in the mirrors. I mean, they've been having a ding-dong battle, and he's there side by side.
You don't know how close he is.
Wow.
I don't know. He's hit him on the back left.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go. This is
a good view, yeah.
Have a look.
So in game as well, you have a little radar on your screen that will say car left. So I actually think that Leslie there managed to maintain that overlap all the way around.
Agreed. I think he's done the right thing, and Morgan has shut the door on him, whereas Morgan should have left him space going side by side. Have a look at this. He's there, and he gets squeezed.
And then, I mean, they would have been fine as well, but Leslie's car just like spins the rear a bit and taps Morgan around. It's such a shame. It actually wouldn't have spun him around if it wasn't that rear end. Oliphant's rear end tapped his rear end.
Taz, what do you think seeing from above now?
Well, I think that Morgan could have him more room going in through this left-hander, definitely. But at the end of the day, you the attacking car, so you can't necessarily. It's not a difficult one, because if you're the attacking car, you got to make sure that the car in front of you still can get through the quarter, and he's hit him. He has hit him. He hasn't avoided hitting him. You know what I mean?
But where was he going to go then? Because if he's up the inside, then in other words, he's already gone and put two wheels on the curb. He's still on the track. Have a look here. He's still on track. But he hasn't been given. He's now been pinched there. Look, he's turning. He's actually on the racing line.
Yeah.
Morgan's. I don't know. This view for me kind of sums it all up, because it's a great move. You can go 2-3. I just don't think Morgan expected him to have a go.
I don't think Morgan expected him to stay as far around the outside as he did.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Morgan thought, okay, he's going around the outside, but he's still not going to be next to me by the next corner. So I'm
he's going to slot in behind. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then
there's no way that there's going to be grip around the outside. So why would he stay there?
And if you watch from in Morgan's in-car view, I'm sure we'll get there now. You'll see how he turns in for the apex. So he was really hoping to cut Oliphant off like completely.
Yeah.
Hoping like Oliphant's going to back off, but Morgan goes for the apex there and does close the door. I don't think Morgan's necessarily wrong, but now we also need to just look at how the incident comes across now, because post-race, obviously, it wasn't Leslie that complained about this. It was McColl, because McColl's the one he reports the incident and says Oliphant's at fault. So now, if we find Morgan at fault, for example, then penalty has been paid. No further action.
For me, this is racing. This is a difficult track to overtake, and we identified in the commentary that this was one of the opportunities to overtake. And Leslie had tried this on Quaid so many times, inside, outside. I mean, this was his favorite opportunity to pass, and I think it's the best one on the circuit. So I think you've got to reward drivers for having a go on a circuit where there's not much opportunity to overtake. He's there. He's having a good battle at it. And I think what we're trying to encourage is that the drivers just need to be aware. Look at the contact as well. He hasn't hit him on the rear wheel.
I think Morgan's actually spun around himself, to be fair.
Yeah, watch the. We don't have the helicam view now, but watch the rear end of Oliphant just slide out and then spin. So there's the tap, and then that tap's fine. The one that was hidden there.
Yeah, it's a second tap, but at the end of the day, that first contact that put Morgan into the spin, for me, wasn't malicious on the rear. It was actually on the driver's door. So that for me is fair play. But like
I think Morgan had already thought that Oliphant would back out at that point, and Oliphant is. Although he's got significant overlap, he's still in the blind spot, like Tasmin says.
Yeah.
So
I'm going racing incident.
I think Oliphant committed to a move and he hasn't backed out of it. And Morgan thought that he wasn't going to remain around the outside and has turned in like normal to almost close the door, but not realizing how far alongside Oliphant was next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a great view.
So then the first tap's like okay, it's the second tap that does the damage.
But I still stick that. I think, in the game, those sort of contact moments, I think, are exaggerated. In the real world, I don't think that rotation would have happened,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it would have.
Yeah, look at that. That's nothing. I think the game just kind of gets itself a little bit freaked out.
So basically we're placing a little bit of blame on both drivers then being a racing incident in that Morgan didn't do anything wrong. Oliphant didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, Morgan could have given him more space, and same from Oliphant.
Yep.
Yeah. So that wraps up all our that we have for tonight, and
we've got a question. So Daniel joining us back on the stream and the chat. You've got a question for us?
Yes, I do indeed. Against all odds sports says, do they use Heli Corsair here? The ACC version of it.
Yeah, so the game itself, or Assetto Corsa Competizione, has a built-in radar system. So the driver will see direct in their line of sight. They will see when a car comes within a certain range, that lights up and shows you exactly where the car is in relation to you. So saying that, Morgan would have had an exact approximation of where that is, and as well as for Leslie.
It changes things a little bit, in my opinion, then, doesn't it?
It does, because you also have a crew chief in your ear saying car left, and then when the car's clear, then you'll say clear left. So, if you take that into account, it's.
I think it's still a racing incident, but I don't think anything needs to be said to Leslie. I think well done, great flipping racing, having a go. He was on pace the whole race, and he had lots of opportunities to try and get that done. But I think it's more a case of Morgan. That's what happens when you don't leave space and somebody's having a go. I think he got the penalty because of that.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, we do enjoy the drivers having a go at it, and it's even better when it's clean.
Taz, before we wrap this all up, the guys were having a good laugh. Obviously, next week we'll record, and I think it's just the crappiest circuit. It's like a glorified shopping center with colorful lines. Your brother does a lot of testing there. I know the Bentley runs fairly well. What is your view on Paul Ricard, one of those new fantastic computer-generated horrible tracks?
Yeah, it's a pretty fast track, but like you said, Jordan and them normally go pretty well there, so obviously I got to be a fan of it. So I think maybe the Bentley is going to be pretty fast there. There's not too many technical corners, so there's a lot of fast corners there. I think it's going to make for interesting racing. I know it does in real life, so I don't see that there'll be any different on the game.
Yeah, the Porsche guys feel quite nervous, John. Zaire in the post-race interview and Bashir were both saying like they don't think
they're saying the Porsches. They're saying the Porsche lacking top end, I know the Mercedes lacks top end severely there. So I think the Bentley will be good, and then maybe the Ferrari. I mean, I believe that Ferrari's got some decent top enders, and of course we got Schurat in the Audi, and he's been shaking some trees lately.
Yeah, listen, I think what happened this weekend has really, I think, motivated the guys. You know, Zare can be beaten. No one thought it was possible, and now we saw what happened this weekend. So I think the guys are going to be amped for round 4. We'll give the circuit a good, we'll give it a break. I think the racing is going to be amazing. Every race seems to be getting better and better. So looking forward to it. And I think with that seeding run as well, I think we're going to see some different guys finding themselves in the pros. I think the Ferraris will probably have a good go, and definitely the Bentleys.
For sure, I'm looking forward to it.
Right, so that's it, guys. I'm sure we didn't get too many questions live on the stream, but trust me, there's going to be a lot of banter on social media post this. And I think just the message always is, we had a race, we had to respect each other and have a good time. And you might not always agree with the things that we say, but I mean, that is motor racing, and that's how it works. And Taz, great having you back. Are you with us this weekend?
Yes, I'll be with you guys again.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Good. That's it. Thanks, guys. So we'll see you on Sunday. The seeding race is obviously on Saturday. We'll see you guys on Sunday for the Pro-Am race, and then obviously the pros coming away from Paul Ricard in France. Have a great evening.